so let's start the tour.
Okay, I'm Kevin Shiplett, Vice President of Operations and Facilities here at the Pro Football Hall of Fame, and for the first time in our history, we have been closed more than 2 days in a row. We were closed for 3 months, but today we flipped the lock and we opened up our front doors, and I'd love to give you a tour inside.
All right, let's go.
So as a guest, you'll see a few things when you come in. Outside here, we do have social distancing markers placed. And we do have some signage up here on our windows about ways that you can help.
You?
So the first thing that our guests will see is when they come in, once again, these are ways that we could work together as teammates and move that football forward. And just a few of the things that they could do. We do recommend wearing a face covering, not required, but we do recommend it. And then we'll talk a little bit about the things that we're doing internally to make the tour even better for our guests.
Okay.
So we can start this way.
All right. So you said face masks aren't required. What if someone came here, did not have a face mask? Do you have face masks available for guests to wear if they want to wear one here?
We do. We have face coverings that we'll distribute free of charge. And if they also want a pair of gloves, we can provide them with a pair of gloves also. Again, free of charge.
All right.
Okay. All right. So this is what the guests will see when they're coming in. And this is going to take us up to our guest services counter. So this is where the guest is then greeted. As you can see, we have acrylic partitions that have been installed for the safety of our staff and for our guests. And also going back to face coverings, you'll see that all of our employees will be wearing a face covering also.
Okay.
So this is where we're greeted by guest services, and we head right over here. We start our tour. Don't forget, as soon as you finish your guest services, hand sanitizing stations.
How many roughly have you added hand sanitizing stations?
We've added 7 additional, and as you leave each gallery, there will be a sanitizing station right there for you.
Wonderful. Okay.
Great. One thing that we've done with the museum now is we've created a one-way tour, whereas in the past, you could go back and forth between galleries but what we wanted to do is, again, taking into consideration social distancing, just keeping people going in one direction, okay? So this ends up going into our Hunt Casterline football card collection, one of the greatest collection of football cards in the world. And this is a prime example of how we have only, just by setting up stanchions, along with proper signage, folks are able to enjoy a one-way tour right through, okay? But what we're going to do, we're going to do a little shortcut. We're going to bypass that.
Okay.
And this will be the area where you exit out. Okay. So again, once you exit a gallery, we have signage. Again, just to help you on your way, a little bit of wayfinding and continue on your tour.
So this is all designed to have one-way foot traffic, correct?
That is.
And
that is correct. Now, if somebody does get turned around and they want to go back to another gallery, that's okay too. We're not going to stop that. But we just do we'd like to keep them on that one-way tour.
Okay. And then how often are you cleaning the different areas of the museum?
Great question. So while we were closed, I'm an operations and facilities guy, and I have an incredible operations and maintenance team. As much as we wanted that front door unlocked, we knew we had to take advantage of the museum being closed. So we've done a deep scrubbing throughout, cleaned all of our carpets, scrubbed floors. We have painted practically the entire interior of the museum. We've painted handrails, etc. Now, throughout the day, at regular intervals, we do have staff that will be going through, and what they'll do is they'll be disinfecting handrails, doorknobs, elevator buttons, areas such as that, restroom countertops, etc. And they'll be doing that throughout the day.
All right.
Okay. Again, in the past, you could come into this area, and we would love for you to, in the past, we'd love for you to turn to the left, but sometimes people will go to the right. But now with proper stanchions in place, folks are able just to continue their tours. And right now, again, we're down here at the first 100 years of professional football. Signage up above, tour reminders of the direction to go. And sometimes some great things happen that you don't intend. Jim Thorpe, which to many people, me included, is the greatest athlete of all time. In the past, he used to be able to go right up to the statue. But now, just by placing a few stanchions, it elevates Jim Thorpe to a whole new dynamic. I mean, he looks absolutely incredible there. So these are some of the things that we found out, could happen by, setting up social distancing and one-way traffic. Okay. So I'd love to continue on the way.
Now, before COVID, during my times I visited, it's, as you said, you could go right or you could go left. Do you have any staff or employees kind of, maybe not standing here the entire time, but kind of monitoring that everyone is keeping socially distant?
So, we trust with our guests, that they'll be able to, follow that signage well and continue that one-way tour. But as I mentioned to you earlier, if somebody does want to backtrack, that's okay. But we will have some staff throughout the building that if there are questions, if somebody has a question, they'll be able to ask. But yes, we will be walking the building, helping folks out.
Wonderful. Okay.
Yeah, it was very exciting to welcome some of our first guests. So we did have people waiting at our front door when we opened up this morning. I do know that this family just came in, which brings up a great point. Families that are traveling together, we know that they're not required to stay 6 feet apart. Okay, so again, we'll be going through the museum and we'll see groups like that are traveling together. Okay.
The state of Ohio has had groups that came together to help determine guidelines for reopenings for different sectors of the Ohio economy. Did anyone from the Hall of Fame have a say in maybe some of the policies that were recommended that museums would have to follow upon reopening? Was anyone involved in that conversation from here?
Not from the Hall of Fame, but we have an incredible close relationship here with Canton Public Health. And we were able to work closely with their Commissioner Adams and their Director of Nursing, Diane Thompson. They were absolutely incredible to us with providing us real-time information as it was coming up to assist us with an opening. So throughout the museum, we have elevators available for our public. But again, we're going to promote social distancing in our elevators, and we like to keep that to 2 people whenever possible. But again, we know families will be traveling together, and they'll be able to stay as their group they want to separate. So we take a tour upstairs. Again, as I mentioned, we won't separate families. Everybody can stay together. Now, I know the sign reads for 2 people only in the elevator, but of course, if anybody does have a service animal that they are more than welcome to bring here to the Hall of Fame, and they can bring into the elevator with them. It's no problem at all. So we'll start our second floor tour. Now, some great things that you're going to see up here are some interactive and hands-on exhibits. Some of those will be display monitors, and then other ones will be touch screens. And when we come to the touch screens, we're actually going to put your Hall of Fame issued stylus free of charge that you'll receive, so that you can go ahead and just touch the screen versus using your fingers.
Now, are those stylus one-time use only, or are they cleaned after every guest uses them?
The guest actually gets to leave with this.
Oh, wow.
And they can keep it with them and take it anywhere else they want if they're visiting other museums or other locations. Now, very soon we'll have the Hall of Fame branded stylus, but in the meantime, yes, anybody has a stylus, they get to leave with it.
All right,
So
and that's included with.
That's included in the
admission.
admission, no additional charge. And again, going back to the face covering and gloves, the guest requests it, we'll provide it to them free of charge.
All right.
Okay, great. Continue the tour. So, this is one of the locations. It's a hands-on exhibit. And again, we really wanted our guests to be able to experience these, but we also know there could be some concerns, with touching things such as this. So, what we've done on this particular one, it shows the different size grips of Jim Kelly, Warren Moon, and Troy Aikman. We also provide hand sanitizer for all of our guests. To use it anytime they like throughout the museum. These also are disinfected on a regular basis. Continue on here. We have a touch screen right over here, and I'll show you how that stylus works. So, let's take the stylus, touch. My favorite team is Cleveland Browns. Oh,
Not a great start.
I remember this game well. The drive just absolutely broke my heart. But so you'll be able to watch these, and then if you like, closed captioning is available at all of our displays. So again, stylus when you come in, you get to take it home with you. Okay. There's some other areas up here I'd like to show you.
Now, just because someone was given a stylus doesn't mean they're guaranteed to use it. Are the touch screens also regularly cleaned throughout the day?
They are. Touch screens are included in that. The other displays, handrails, elevator buttons, restroom countertops, those high touch areas are all disinfected on a regular basis now. So we're currently getting ready to enter the Hall of Fame gallery, which to many people is the most hallowed part here at the Pro Football Hall of Fame. This is where a player's bust will remain, and these busts will last up to 40,000 years. But on your left is the inaugural class of 1963. And straight ahead we have some great motivational enshrinement speeches. This morning we're playing Jim Kelly's. But we've set this area up as a one-way tour again. We went ahead and we placed social distancing reminders throughout the galleries.
It's been written throughout my career that toughness is my trademark.
And then also, we've removed all of our furniture where the public could sit. Because quite frankly, some of it just wasn't appropriate for social distancing. So what we've done is we've replaced all of our furniture with Hall of Fame branded padded chairs. They aren't just any kind of padded chair. Up until a few years ago, our Hall of Famers, when they would sit on the enshrinement stage, sat on these actual chairs. Now, I can't guarantee when somebody comes, they're gonna sit in a chair that Kevin Green sat in, but they will be sitting in a chair that one of our Hall of Famers once sat in.
And I think it goes without saying chairs are cleaned every so often as well.
Correct.
Throughout the day.
Chairs are disinfected also, and then we have our regular cleaning at night, but we have since elevated that to include even more deep disinfection.
Is there ever a time during the day where there's no touring for visitors, like maybe just like a halftime where a cleaning crew would come in and clean up the entire thing, or is it just more station by station?
Well, it's actually on a regular intervals throughout the day. You'll see them start to walk through, and they'll be disinfecting the handrails quick, etc. And the way that we do it, it works out well because we never have to close an area down for that. So any heavy disinfecting can take place in the evening time after we're closed.
How do you guys go about enforcing capacity where you might, I know every business has a certain number that they're only allowed to have in, but how do you prevent everyone who's in the building being in one spot at one time?
Sure. So going back to building occupancy, we did take our public square footage area, and then, we used the appropriate formula for social distancing. So we have our capacity that we track at the front counter to make sure that we're not over capacity.
Do you know what that number is?
It is. It's actually 800.
Okay.
800. So we could put in 800 people right now.
Does that include employees or no?
It does not include employees because our employees are really in the non-public areas, with the exception of a couple as you're walking office to office. Okay? Now, to your other question about in gallery areas. So what we're doing is we're asking our guests to go ahead and monitor themselves as they're walking through an area and not gather in groups, except of course unless you're a family. But that's something that we know that our guests will take care of, and they can do that on their own.
Now, hypothetical situation, what does an employee do if they come by and there are 100 people, just because this is obviously, like you said, a very popular area, and if the crowd kind of slows down in here or anywhere else in the building, what's the protocol when there is a large crowd?
So that protocol, whenever that does happen, is usually I'll end up receiving a phone call that, Kevin, we have a gallery that's getting, over capacity. And again, sometimes it's as simple as just a friendly reminder for folks to again, adhere to social distancing, but again, allowing themselves to regulate that on their own. We believe that with what everything has gone on in the past few months, that if somebody walks into a gallery and it's a little bit busy, they may say, I'm going to pass on this one for right now, and I'm going to go to the next one, but then I'm going to come back to this. That's why when we get into the one-way tour, we're not going to enforce that, you have to keep going, that you can't go back to see a gallery you might have missed. Okay? So continue to walk up here. And again, reminders, just to let our guests know. This is the room where John Madden, during his enshrinement speech, said he was so excited because he said when the lights get turned off, that these busts start talking to each other, and he said that was the thing he was looking most forward to having his bust here. And it really is. It's an incredible room. Incredible room. Same here. Everything has been disinfected. Glass areas.
Are the individual busts cleaned throughout the day, or is it just like at the end of the day thing? Because you're not really supposed to touch them.
Yeah, they're cleaned at the end of the day, and then just right over here, more touch screens again that our guests will be able to utilize their stylus with. So it has been exciting today with so many people already coming through the hall. As I mentioned, we had people waiting at our front door. So it has been an exciting day for us. And again, here in the Hall of Fame gallery, guests are able to see some of the most recent classes. But what we're really excited about, this is where the class of 2020 is going to be permanently installed, and this is where they're always going to be. So we're excited about getting the new class in, and just a lot of great things on the horizon.
Big class for 2020, obviously. It's going to be a big summer of enshrinement week, and then obviously with the centennial stuff also in September. Is there already a plan in motion on how you're going to have crowd control within the facility? Because COVID will still be more than likely around in a couple of months.
Yep. So we'll still take into consideration. We'll use the building occupancy. That's an outstanding guide for us, along with the 6 foot of social distancing that we're doing outside with markers, out in our sidewalk area. So, exciting. So CDC recommends when we wash our hands a minimum 20 seconds. Some folks say, well, what's 20 seconds? I got to count to myself or sing happy birthday a couple times, but we're having a little bit of fun with it. So what we did is, above each sink here, we have a picture of our class of 2020. And what we're asking you to do is just use the water, lather and scrub, and then number 3, most important, read each name of our class of 2020. You finish up, and we're very, very happy because we have Jimbo Covert in our building today. So it's just such an exciting time here today to not only open up and have a gold jacket here also. So we're getting ready to enter the Game for Life Theater. It's an incredible theater. Joe Namath will come to life as a hologram, but you really learn a lot of life's lessons in here. You're gonna listen to Jim Kelly talk about his cancer battle, Alan Page, from Canton, Ohio, Supreme Court Justice from Minnesota. But I'd like to show you inside and how we've set up our theaters for social distancing. So again, to promote social distancing, we went through our seating area and we've actually provided a demarc on where our guests can sit and still have that social distance between them. But again, if a family is traveling together, we want to keep that family together, and we'll make exceptions then that if we set a family at this row, then we won't utilize the last seat.
Them. What exactly it was that took good men and transformed them into the greatest of all time.
So we're down here in the museum store right now, and without a doubt this is one of the most popular places to stop here at the Hall of Fame. It's got pretty much all the apparel that you could think of, from hats and shirts to jackets to pennants to coffee mugs and other items branded with your favorite NFL team. But what we've done here, as we've done throughout the museum, is we've set up social distancing lines for those people that are shopping. And then just a little bit over to the right, once again, is we've installed acrylic partitions, and that helps out our staff along with those that are in line for our customers. Now, one important thing to remember is if you want to come and shop only, there is no admission. So it's you can come into the store and shop at any time for free. That pretty much concludes the tour. Sanitize the stations as people depart. And we just appreciate everybody visiting the Pro Football Hall of Fame. We're open for inspiration, and we're open from 9 until 8 p.m. throughout the summer.